I think let's initiate the session and then we will continue with whatever we have to do. Meanwhile, people can keep jumping in. I am sharing my screen. I will gonna need a verbal confirmation if you all can see my screen and you all can hear me very well. Anyone?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
great. So before starting up, let's settle the agenda for the day. Okay. Someone is trying to speak. Go for it. Okay. So I am not really the presentation kind of guy, but what we will do, I'll start with a blank window. Whatever I will add on, whatever we will do throughout the session, I'm going to keep adding the bullet points to the whiteboard so that at the end, it's a summary. Okay. So what we will do, three things we will do. One is we will learn a bit about AI tools. Second, we will go ahead and we will talk a bit about analysis. Third, we will go ahead and we will learn about three most important topics of analysis particularly related to Excel. Okay. And then last part will gonna be where we will be focusing on what are the all important pointers to come up with the dashboard. The most important thing. Okay. Now, so before starting anything, okay, I'm expecting that if you all are here by one or the other mean, you all want to get yourselves ahead in the field of analytics, right? So a very wide question to ask, what is analysis? Anyone? What do you understand whenever somebody say analysis, or what do you think analysis word really means in a very short and a crisp manner?
Hi, my name is Richa. I think it's interpretation of a data into some useful insights, which can be used in business.
Exactly. So when we say analysis, we basically also do the early part of interpretation, which we call as auditing the data, examining the data. So with audit, I meant you going through the data. With examine, I meant you understand the patterns. And when you understood the patterns, you just go ahead and you interpret it. Audit, examine, and interpret. So whatever the data you do have, you audit it, you examine it, and you interpret into a very useful information. Okay. Now, let's talk about what all different category of analysis we have throughout. Okay. So whenever we are talking about analysis, there are majorly 4 different category of analysis, out of which the first analysis that we do have is descriptive analysis. So take a very simple example that, let's say I ask all of you a very simple question that however your life spent so far, tell me, are you a notorious kid or not? Very simple question. Or let's say that whatever place you live in, and I ask you, is the place that you live in is more sunny or has like temperature very down? So whenever what you do is whatever life you have lived, in simple words, whatever the past is, whenever you try to understand the patterns from the past, that's what descriptive analysis is all about. Agenda of the analysis is what happened in whatever duration we are talking about. Now let's talk about a technical example. For example, if I give you 1 year sales data of any company, and then I just give you the data and I ask you what are the all information you understand from that particular part, that is descriptive analysis. Second category of analysis that we have is diagnostic analysis. Diagnostic analysis is like where the agenda of analysis is why something happened. For example, in descriptive analysis, I've given you 1 year sales data of any company. You came up with an analysis and where you told me that in the August, I had a huge loss. So in diagnostic analysis, I come in and I ask you why I had a huge loss in August. Third category of analysis that we do have is predictive analysis. Predictive analysis is looking from past to present, and predicting what will going to be the future. In simple terms, for example, let's say that if there is one company and that company has been doing sales like this till the point, I just want to know what is the forecasting for next 5 years. So you just draw a rough forecasting for next 5 years. On the basis of the behavior of the data, on the basis of behavior of patterns, from the past to the present, you are trying to predict what's the future. That comes under predictive analysis. Last but not the least, you have something called prescriptive analysis. What is prescriptive analysis? Prescriptive analysis is, for example, let's say whenever you go to a doctor wants to take you to state 1, that's your ill state, to state 2, that's your healthy state. And for that, doctor might have different plans, plan 1, plan 2, plan 3. So doctor just tells you which plan is statistically better. The same thing. When a company is on state 1 and the company want to shift from state 1 to state 2, the best example that you can take right now is the Indigo we do have, okay? Or being very specific, the airline system that we do have. So in that, one of the company said to its all analyst team that we are facing a huge loss. And then what analysts did, they were facing a huge loss from to the state. They are having like hefty profits now. They had 3 different strategies to tackle. What the team of analysts did, they statistically tested all of them and then told them this one is better, go ahead with this one and you'll have profits in future. So these are 4 different categories of analysis. In prescriptive, the agenda of analysis is that what should we do to reach from state 1 to state 2? And the agenda of predictive analysis here is that what is likely to happen. So there are 2 category, or there are ideally 4 category of analysis. One is descriptive, second is diagnostic, one is predictive, and then you have prescriptive. Both of them are related to forecasting the future, predictive and prescriptive, and descriptive and diagnostic is related to understanding the past. I hope you all are clear with this part. Can I have a quick yes from you all if you understood what I just said?
Yes. Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
Great. So you all can do the same so that I can be sure. Okay. Now, let's go one step forward. Before moving any further, okay, I'll just talk about a few things. What are the skills required? So we all are from complete different domains. Some one of you might be from, let's say, medical domain, insurance domain, banking domain. We all are from completely different domains, right? So what are the actual skills required? And if you really want to understand what skills required, take a very simple example. Imagine you're working in an ABC bank, okay? And I'm the manager of you. I ask you a very simple question. Can you please quickly analyze and give me an analysis of all the FDs, the fixed deposit that we have done in last fiscal year? You're working as a data analyst in a bank, and I have assigned you a very simple problem. The problem is, can you please analyze all the FDs that we have done in last one fiscal year? I've assigned you the problem. What will be your first step?
Have a data.
Have the data, which we call as data extraction. Now, you are not somebody who's the software team. Obviously, the data is managed by the software team. So the first line of action will be that you're going to reach out to them. You're going to drop them an email or whatever the ticketing system you do have. You're going to reach out to them and you're going to tell them that out of this whole data, I just need this much of a chunk. And can you give me the access? They'll give you the access back. Then you request the data from the database and you will get it. So now you have the data that you need after extraction. What is step number 2?
You'll put in the date range that your manager has requested for, say for fiscal year Jan 2025 to December 2025.
Let's say you have
And
data
you'll select
belong to-
FD. Mhm.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, and then you select the kind of FDs. I mean, FD as in total FD or different kinds. I don't know, but if it's just FD, then you just select that, and then it should bring out. It should segregate the data accordingly.
Now, one thing. What if the date which is being collected is not in the date format, it's in the timestamp format, 14021? So the first step after you do extraction is the pre-processing of data. In pre-processing, there are 2 major steps. Step number 1 is cleaning of the data, where sometimes the data might have few values which got crashed while exporting, or data which is missing, or there are n number of different behaviors that needs to be improved. Second, hi Krish, can you quickly check who have a background noise on their end? Can you put them on mute? Thank you. Okay, so first is cleaning, second is transformation. What we just talked about, that it's completely possible that you have a date in a complete different format, and what you need is in a complete different format. That's what we call as data transformation. So now, to give a context of all the people who just joined, we are just talking about an example that, let's imagine that you all are working in ABC Bank. You're working there as a data analyst, and I've assigned you a very simple problem that you have to analyze all the fixed deposits that they have done in last fiscal year. Step number one is you need the data. So data extraction is the first step. Step number two is pre-processing of the data. That involves cleaning of the data, that if your data is messy, has few problems, you need to clean it. Second is transformation of the data. Now, let's imagine that we got the data into a form that we need. Third step is data analysis, where now you have to understand what you want to do. Like, what are the most important stats? Like, total FD amount is one important stat. Univariate analysis, taking one column at a time and understanding important data from it. So you took the amount column, you totaled it, and you got a number, sum of total FD or current FD we do have. That's univariate analysis, picking up one variable or one column at a time. Second is a bivariate analysis, picking two column at a time. So if I pick up the month column and the amount column, I can make a line chart of the amount of FD we are holding in that fiscal year in particular month. Third is what you call as multivariate analysis. What is multivariate analysis? That you take three columns at a time. For example, if I take the date column, the FD amount column, and the interest column, and I try to put them on all one place. So that's your multivariate analysis. You do all of these dependent upon what is the agenda of the analysis. Last but not the least, obviously, you will not going to present them in a very messy way. You will put all of them into a very good presentational way. And that's what we call as data visualization, where you will put all of them into a very proper way and you will represent it. Okay. Most of the people available out there just consider this as the skill set. So if I have to pack it all again in a single sheet, first is data extraction. Second is data pre-processing. Third is data analysis. And last is visualization. Now, there is one more skill which is required to become a good data analyst. That's forecasting. You need to know how simple forecasting as a skill set work. Okay. Now, this is what are the skills required if you're already working as a data
visualization forecast.
Sorry. Okay. So these are the skill set which are already required if you're a working DA. If you're currently working as a data analyst, these are the skill sets required. Now, what are the market tools aligned for each? If you want to study extraction, you need to study about SQL, structured query language. This is a sort of simple of the simplest coding, like how you write Excel formulas. If you want to understand pre-processing, you want to understand analysis, visualization, and forecasting, all of this is dependent upon different cases. Case number one, if your company is a little small on budget and they don't want to pay for commercial licenses, then they mostly use Excel for it. Or if your company, whatever the company you're working for, if the company is simplicity-oriented companies, keep everything very simple until you don't have to go and complicate it, then people use Excel. Excel is capable of doing all of them. But remember, Excel has limitations. Like if you go beyond 1 million rows, Excel will collapse. Okay. So second case scenario is when your company is like a huge MNC, multinational corporation, and they want a damn good reports. So what we need is a good visualization. In that case, you use a tool called Power BI. Third case scenario, if you are handling a data which is very huge, whenever your data is very huge, or whenever the nature of the data is very complicated in nature, in both cases, you need Python as a language, as a coding language. But again, you do not need whole Python. Like When we are studying about Excel, Excel is a very vast tool. You don't need the whole Excel. You only need 3-4 components out of it. Same way, Python is a category of language which is very vast. You don't need the whole Python. You just need a couple of components out of it. So Python, and then you need data analysis with Python. And last is forecasting, which is known as predictive modeling, or the technical term is machine learning, where you make the machine learning something and then you ask the machine to predict something for you. First skill set, Excel. Second skill set, SQL. Third skill set, Power BI. Fourth skill set, Python. Fifth, data analysis and visualization with Python. Sixth, machine learning. And to know all of this, you need to have one more skill set, which is statistics. Basics of statistics for all of this. Okay, now these are the skill sets which are required by somebody who's working as a DA. Now there are two more skill sets required if you want to switch to DA, which no one really talks about. I've been into this industry since last 7 years now. Okay, I was working as DA, then moved to DS, and now I'm teaching a lot of enthusiast people about DA and DS. So whenever you are transitioning your career from, let's say, a non-tech or a non-analytical domain to an analytical domain, what people think is that everyone is looking for somebody who knows Excel, somebody who knows Power BI, somebody who knows SQL, somebody who knows the whole Python on 10 on 10. It's a wrong thing. I have been into hiring industry. I work as a freelance recruiter. I hired for the most famous brands. But you'll not believe, whenever we sit in the briefing of the meeting, let's say that we are hiring people for a brand, and it's the briefing meeting today. Technical briefing, not the personal or the HR briefing. We are in the technical briefing. One of the very common saying of any of the manager or CEOs of the company is that we are not looking for a 10 on 10 candidate. We are looking for the people who are 6 on 10 or 7 on 10. Because a 10 on 10 candidate will never stay. He or she will leave the company as soon as they think they are smartest in the room. So point being that it's easy to become a 6 on 10. It's easy to become 7 on 10. I don't know why we all are so pressurized into becoming a 10 on 10. Now, what are the two extra skill set that I was talking about? So first skill set, extraction of the data. Second skill set, pre-processing of the data. Third skill set, analysis of the data. Fourth skill set, visualization of the data. And there are 3 more required, or you can also say 2 more required. One is mindset. This one is the skill set. There is no syllabus for it. If you ask me, Ravi, I want to improve my mindset in analytics, can you just give me a couple of bullet pointers that I can study and can get my mindset great? No, you cannot. There is a reason why people still prefer classroom education over online. Okay, point one. Second, people prefer live lecture over recorded ones. So it's not just about you talking to a teacher, it's also you manipulating the class into a behavior that you are okay with. Point number one. Second, whenever you are getting trained with somebody, why not everyone study from ChatGPT or internet? Whenever you, or why people prefer YouTube, right? Because when you are teaching with a live class, you are not just getting the content, you are also sharing the perspective of the front person towards the data. Okay, so let's take a very simple example. It's a too fancy definition. Let me show you a very simple example. Do I have the data set here? Yes, I do. Let's go with this one. Okay, I'm going to show all of you a very simple data. This is the data set we do have. Okay, let me give you a brief. So these are the names of the salesperson working in my company. Imagine I run Nestle. Imagine I run Nestle. Okay, Nestle has a different category of chocolates available. These are the countries my salesperson selling their product to, and these are the product they are selling. Mint choco chip, 85% dark bars, peanut butter cubes, smooth, silky, salty, 90% dark and pure, after nines. These are all brands of chocolate. These are the dates they have sold chocolates on. These are the amount they have sold for, and these are the number of boxes they have shipped against that order. I have a very simple thing. All of you think whatever the best you can and tell me if out of this you all have to take some couple of important insights out, what those insights will gonna be. You all have a data in front. The problem is very simple. You all have to bring down some information. Let's say you know everything. You know Excel, you know Python, whatever you can think, you can take it out. You know it, how you can take it out, but tell me what you can think at max. Anyone, give it a try. I'll go first. Okay. So for example, let's say by looking at the data, if I can figure out the top 3 salesperson who has the highest sale in my company, this is one of the simplest example. Let's see if any of you can go a little higher and a little complicated in nature. Anything else that you all can think of? Anyone?
Product most in demand.
Product
The most-
cost and demand. So that's another name of finding top 3 products.
Oh,
What else? Anyone else? Any good example that you all can think of?
The month where the products were sold most.
Top 3 months. Anything else?
I think region and market.
We don't
Market
have
share?
region as the column. We don't have market as the column, but we do have country as column.
Yeah.
Top 3 countries. What else? The same way we figured out top 3.
Revenue.
We don't have profit and cost.
Amount.
Just
Oh,
the
I
amount.
don't know.
But how you will figure out top 3 salesperson? By putting
To
salesperson
buy
against
put
amount.
amount. Yeah. Sorry.
We can have bottom 3. If I want to fire people, or if I want to put them in PIP, performance improvement plan, I can figure out bottom 3 for all of them. I can figure out top 3 salesperson. I can figure out if I want to close down. I have a lot of options. So if I want to close down some options in the terms of product, what I'll do, I'll take out the last 3. If I have to focus the least on 3 months, I'll take the least performing 3 months. Now, we all have like bachelors, masters in different technologies. Now, for one moment, imagine you haven't even went to school. Think about that grocery shop at the corner of your street where somebody's sitting who's 50, 60. Okay, just take a very simple example. A grocery store which is corner at your street, somebody who's 50, 60, or even 70, okay, running a shop, or imagine a kid who is 15 or 16 years old running a grocery shop. Isn't these are the kind of calculation that he or she also might do what we just concluded to? If you are running a shop, it doesn't matter how you do. The basic business sense will give you these statistics that we just talked about as a group of 19, 20 people. That's the whole issue. So when we go into analytical industry, it's not about if you know the tool or not. Okay. So when we hire people or when we try to understand, get on to the interviewer part, right? One of the favorite question of interviewers is a scenario-based question, or what you call as a dilemma-based question. Now, what is scenario-based question? For example, the interview will give you a question that will not have a body. For example, can you please find me second highest salary? The question is, it's like this question has a ratio of 78% being asked in any data analyst interview. Can you please find me the second highest salary? Now, the point is, there is no table given, there is no data given, nothing. It's your brain which has to build a good question out of this first. So you don't just have to answer. You have to frame a good question and then you have to answer. And if you don't have that analytical approach, you cannot come up with a good table within fraction of seconds. So the most important skill set to ace any interview, to become a damn good analyst, is not the top Excel, Power BI. All of these things can be learned. Go to YouTube, take 3 hours time, search Excel, whatever the 3-hour course of Excel, take it, you will do good in Excel. Take 3-hour course of Power BI, you will do good in Power BI. Take 3-hour course of Python, you will do good in Python. It's not about the technical skills, it's about the analytical approach of your brain that no one really focuses on. 80% of the YouTube people who are teaching you data analytics never been into data analytics in their complete life. Go to any of the YouTube videos, search about how to make an Excel project. They'll come to you, they'll talk about 5 different charts, let's put them in. Why? Why only those 5 different charts? Why only the stats that we are talking about? That's what mindset means. In this data, I can come up with 1,000 different analysis. The point is, what you pick up is what matters. Second, so what happened is, I'm expecting, is there anybody who's below 20? Or to be precise, 21. Is there anybody who's below 21? Oh, I'm expecting not. Okay. Still, so what happens is, at the time of your school or your college, in your school and your college days, things were very convenient. You used to believe in rote learning. Okay. Now, what exactly is rote learning? If I give you 2,000 words in your school and I would have asked you to remember them as it is, 1 week or 2 week at maximum, and you could have remembered those 2,000 words as it is. But point is, can you do now? If I give you 2,000 words and I ask you to remember them as it is without changing a single thing, if I given you even a month, you will not be able to. Okay. 1 of 10 can, but 9 of 10 will not be able to remember the 2,000 words, because that's how biologically your brain process. What's the whole point of this? The whole point of this is that the learning behavior or the learning pattern of your brain is experiential now. Experiential means you only remember what you do. You don't remember something that you don't do. So, but this is not required in an interview. For example, let's say that you're working in insurance domain. Take a very simple example that you all were working in insurance domain and you're learning data analytics now, right? At the time of your classes, what you will ask your teacher, you'll ask your teacher or whomsoever is training you, can you make the words as simple as possible? Right? But at the time of your interview, it's the jargons that will help you to ace down the interview. For example, let's say there is a technical candidate, there is a non-technical candidate. All of them is 10 on 10 on tools. Both of them are 10 on 10 on tools, right? What is something that separates them?
Jargon, of course.
The language. When you go through a bachelor's or a master's of technical, it's not the tools that you focus on, it's the journey that you opt the words into your general communication or general converse, right? So the another biggest problem or the another biggest skill that you need other than mindset is vocabulary. So now, if you are somebody who's looking into data analytics as journey, what are the peak 7 skill sets we need? We need to learn data extraction. I'm not writing the whole name. We need to learn about pre-processing. We need to learn about data analysis. We need to learn about data visualization. We need to learn about data forecasting. And there are 2 non-tech skills that you need to focus on a lot. One is mindset and another is a strong vocab. Okay, now let's jump into what we are doing for the day. So in next 1.5 hours, we will do 2 things. We will take a bit sample of AI around and we will go through a bit of Excel. Let's start with Excel first. Okay. Now you all told me that we all could have come up with the simple stats like top 3 salesperson, top 3 this, top 3 this, top 3 this. But this data that I'm showing you right now has 1,094 rows. It's one of the popular data. So after this, if you'll go to Google, for example, let's say I go here and this is the popular data set for a beginner. If you go to Google and you type Kaggle, Kaggle is one of the official source of data, chocolate sales data. You hit enter. This is what you will come to. And this is the website that you have the data available, the data that I'm using you right now. This is the sheet that I'm using. Exactly. Salesperson, country, product, date, amount, and boxes shipped. Okay. Now, let's say I'm here. Now there is a topic called pivot. What is pivot? So imagine that in my data, this is the data set that I do have, and this has 1,094 rows. Out of that, let's say 200 belongs to UK, 200 belongs to USA, 200 belongs to Australia, and so on. Okay. What I want to do, I want to sum those 200 up and I want to find what is the total amount of UK. So what I want to do, I have this data. I want to take all the rows of UK together. I want to group all the rows of USA together. I want to group all the rows of Australia together, and this just find their sum. This is known as pivoting. Pivoting in terms, you also call it as summarization of your data, grouping of your data, where you group the data on some basis and then you find the sum. So for example, if I go here to the data, I do a control A. I click on insert, I click on pivot table, and I click on table range. I'm repeating what I'm doing. I'm going to the insert menu, clicking on the pivot table, and then clicking on from table range. Insert, pivot table, table range, you do hit OK. And we are here. Now, this is what the most important thing you do have. In normal Excel, it looks like this. It has 4 things: rows, values, filters, and column. Let me just go through one by one. If I pick up the countries and I put it in rows, you will get all the unique countries. That means that the data that you have, I had this. So I had whatever data I had, the data got divided into different country groups. Here you have country 1, country 2, country 3. And all the rows that country 1 has, you can access some information out. For example, if I pick up the amount and put it in values, there you go. I have all the countries and their total amount. For example, if I put the country, put it out, if I pick up the salesperson, put it in rows, all the data that you had got grouped into salesperson, and I have the sum of amount. Let's do another iteration. If I pick it up, I put it back. And if I pick up the country, put it in rows, I have it. Okay. So that's how you find or you group the data on one basis and you find their total of amounts. Are we clear with basic concept of pivoting? Or in very simple terms, how pivoting works? Give me a yes if you all are clear. Or we can just have
Yes.
about the rest.
I mean, yeah, it's when you're talking about country and name and amount, that's fine. But can you not incorporate the country and the salesperson together, or will it go under the salesperson goes under column?
Can you just take the salesperson, you put it below the country? There you go.
Let's have a look.
So
Okay.
Andrea Kimpton's sales in Australia is $30,170.
Okay,
You
got
go
it.
ahead, you take product. You pick up the product, you put it below. This is 50% dark bites sold by Andrea Kimpton inside Australia. Total amount is 4,438.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm taking
When do
that.
we use column then?
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Now, where do we use column? I put it up back. I drag the salesperson to rows. I take up to the country, and then I just, there you go. At a time in a single table, you have all the salesperson, their countries, and total sales of all salesperson in all countries. But this is not that useful. Reason being, so in analysis, there is a ground rule that my seniors used to tell me when I was studying is, it's a 3-second rule. It's not a static rule. It's not written anywhere. But when I was learning about data analytics, there is someone told me 3-second rule. Whatever the graph you make, if a non-tech person cannot analyze anything in first 3 seconds, then it's a very bad graph. Very simple thing. So whenever you put on a graph, whenever you put on states, or whenever you look at any of the graph that you remember, if you cannot portray any information out in first 3 seconds, you will not be able to upfront convey whatever you wanted to convey. Always remember, analysis is a process of approximation. What you are telling is you are summarizing the data and putting into very small stats. So you cannot always focus on all stats at all time, right? For example, let's say that you have 100 column data set, which has 1 million rows. Now this can have 1 billion different analysis, right? In different permutation and combinations. So you can never focus on all of them. That's why, okay, once we'll start studying the dashboarding part, I'll get to that point. It's very important to build a great perspective. Every chart of yours should compile up and come up with top 3 or 4 insights. Okay, now shifting back to what we were doing. The column is not that useful because it makes the table suddenly very complicated. Now let's say I have this as the salesperson. I want to find out top 3 salesperson. What should I do? Tell me logically, I'll tell you technically. If I want to find top 3 salesperson, tell me logically what I should do.
Add in filters.
You can filter in row labels. You can put
First
a
of all,
filter
I
in.
have to sort the amount in descending manner so that the biggest amount can stay on top. I do the same. I do a right click on sort, and I go ahead and do largest to smallest. What I did right click on the amount, did the sort, did largest to smallest. Then I have the data sorted. Who are my top 3 salesperson? These 3 are my top 3 salesperson. But when you will be making a graph, you only need these 3 values, not anything else other than this. So you do a right click on the name, you go with filter, and you pick up top 10. What I did, I right clicked on my name, I selected the filter, and then I went to top 10. Right click,
Correct.
filter, top 10, and instead of top 10, you either pick up 3, 5, or 7 at max, not higher than that. You have the top 3 salesperson.
Correct.
Now, point is, why are we building pivot? Why not the n number of other methods possible because pivots are dynamic in nature. What that means, for example, let's say I go to my data, I will knowingly, so the 3% I do have here is Chess Bonwell, Obi Sorrell, and Madeline Upcott. Okay. I'm going back to my data and I will, let's say I take one person, Van Texwell. I will knowingly give this person the highest sales. I modified the number, if you all can see here. I'm knowingly giving this person the highest sales. Now, if you have made any analysis using pivot, you don't have to redesign it. You can just go back to pivot table analyze and you can hit refresh. Done. All the analysis will stay as it is and the data will be refreshed.
Because you put in filters, correct?
Sorry.
Because you put in filters, so it automatically picks up.
Everything I did after pivot is dynamic in nature. Whatever you just did will be done all over again as soon as you do a refresh. So it first made the pivot table, then it sorted it, and then it applied top 3. So whatever you can see here is completely dynamic in nature. That's why pivoting is preferred. First level of dynamic in nature is whatever you do make change in data. Let's go with next. I'm clicking here and I have 2 options here. Insert slicer. Let's go with 1. Insert slicer. I click on insert slicer. Now these are the columns I do have. I'll pick up country and I hit OK. What you guys understand from the word slicing? Whatever logical thing you can understand from the word slicing. Anyone? So if you have a mango, I ask for a slice of mango.
We are cutting it.
So what you do have is you have a big data, a data that has 1094 rows. What if I ask for the slice that belongs to Australia? So I'm not asking for the whole data. I'm asking for a bit part of it. Now I have done one analysis, that is top 3 salesperson. But these 3 top 3 salesperson are in the complete world. Now, in terms of analysis, we say something that there is a saying that never believe in raw data. For example, let's say there is a salesperson 1 who sold $8,000, and then there is a salesperson 2 who sold $10,000 sales. Which one is better? Simple question. Which one is better? Obviously, the salesperson 2, until you don't have the whole data. So now I tell you that this salesperson sold this 8,000 in a very small country like Australia, where the total sales is 10,000. On the other hand, this salesperson 2 is a part of big country like, let's say, the whole America, all part of USA, okay, where the total sales is 1 million. Now, his percentage contribution is 1%. His percentage contribution is 80. Now, I'll ask the same question. Which salesperson is better? Salesperson 1
S2.
Australia.
Oh, sorry, S1. Sorry, S1.
So in data, it's always a saying that either you look up at the whole data, never look up at half of the data and decide whatever you want to decide, right? That's why the most easiest category of analysis that a human brain can do is bivariate. Bivariate means picking up 2 entities at a time and comparing them. So all the examples that you all told me, top 3 salesperson, or what I started with, was all by in nature. For example, I was either picking country versus amount, salesperson versus amount, and etc. But the best analysis always comes from multivariate analysis, picking up minimum 3 column at a time or going beyond 3. But the point being, we the people from non-analytical background can't even think of couple of analysis that uses 3 column at a time. Or if we will do 3 column at a time, one of you asked a very good question to me. What if how I can pull up the data of all salesperson inside all countries, right? So the most important question to take out is, it's not the top 3 salesperson. It's the top 3 salesperson in every country. Because every country has a different market, every country has a different selling medium. Everything is completely different from all of them, right? So now, I do a Control A, click on Insert, click on Pivot Table, click on Table Range, hit OK. We'll continue with the concept of slicing in a second. I take up the country, put it in rows. I take up the salesperson, put it in rows. I take up the amount, put it in values. Now I do a right click on the amount, click on Sort, do a largest to smallest. Now, if you will see, inside the country, all the salesperson got sorted in a descending order of amount. Now what I do a right click here, I do filter, I go with top 10 and I change it to top 3. You hit enter, you have it. These are the top 3 salesperson in every country. Why pivot? It's dynamic in nature. Let's go back to what we were discussing. Now, here we were discussing about slicing. These were the top 3 salesperson in terms of data. I'll first go ahead and I'll undo the change that I did in the data. I have it. So I change the number back, and this is the analysis that I do have. Now I click on insert, pivot table analyze. I go to insert, and I go ahead and add it on the basis of country. I hit OK. I have it. Now what is going to happen? As soon as I click on Australia, the number changes. The numbers are complete dynamic. Numbers got changed. Click on Canada. These are the top 3 salesperson of Canada: India, New Zealand, UK, USA. You want to club them together, hold the control button. I want to know the top 3 salesperson in Australia, Canada, and India. Australia, Canada, and India. You have the top 3 salesperson in Australia, Canada, and India. Now, this is what we call as, so if I just go ahead and insert a chart on it, you have a visualization. I just don't like these buttons, so I'll take them off and I'll name them top 3 salesperson. I put it aside, close this one. I put the slicer here. You have it. Now I'll just go and do click, copy, and I'll put it into something else and I put them here. I have it. Now I have a chart and I have a slicer. If I click on it, the chart changes because base of both of them is the pivot table, which is in the another sheet, and both are dynamic in nature. There is one more thing that you're missing out. That thing is KPI. Okay, so let's go to Google. I go here and I type Data Analyst dashboards. Spelling is wrong, but the Google will get it. You go to images and go for it. Look at all of these dashboards. Let's open any one at random. Let's say this one. Okay. Focus on what all things it has. It either has chart or has slicers or filters. Look here. These are your slicers and filters. Rest, it has a couple of important numbers. These numbers are known as KPIs. What are KPIs? KPIs are known as key performance indicators. KPIs are known as key performance indicators. Okay, now let's go ahead. How to make KPI? Again, make a simple pivot table for it. I'm going back to my main data. I'm going to call this sheet as my dashboard. Now I'm going back up here and I'm going to delete any spare sheet I do have. Delete this sheet. I'll go ahead and delete it. This sheet, I'll go ahead and, okay, I need this one. This is a blank sheet. I'll get rid of it. Now I do a Control A, click on Insert, click on Pivot Table, click on Table Range. I hit OK. Now I'll just take up the amount and put it in values. What is this? Anyone? Take a guess. What is this number?
It's the total of all.
It's a total of the complete sales. Exactly. Now what I do, I go to my dashboard, I go to Insert, I take a text box, I make a good text box. Then I do equals to on this text box and I reference it to this table and I hit enter. I have a KPI created. Now, let's try to understand the flow. I had a raw data over which I made a pivot table, over which I have a column chart. Also on that chart, I have a slicer. Now I have another pivot table, which is just a number, which is the total sales. Now what I also want to connect this pivot, this slicer to this pivot table, so that whenever I change something here, it changes here as well as here. So it will affect the KPI as well as the chart both. So basically, I just want to connect my slicer to both of them. So what I do, I click on this slicer, go to report connections, and I connect the another sheet I do have, which is sheet 6, hit OK. Now, when you click on Australia, this is the total sales of Australia. When you click on Canada, this is the total sales of Canada. When you click on India, this is the total sales of India. In short, we established basic concepts on how pivots as a raw idea works, how slicers work, and how KPIs work, which are the top 3 most important components of a dashboard, other than the mindset, technical aspect of a dashboard. Any question on any of these, anyone? Again, we are just taking a rough idea because we have a 2-hour time frame and we have to cover 2 more things. So I just explained you a very simple idea of what we can do with all of that. Now, I'm hoping this all makes sense. Can I have again a yes, yeah, something?
Yes.
Great. The rest members? Okay. Now, let's take one more step forward. Let's shift to a little different domain. Okay, let's talk a bit about AI. We all use a tool called ChatGPT. Is there anyone who are hearing for the term ChatGPT for the first time? If you don't know, ChatGPT is that what's a friend of yours who know everything. You just need to drop a message to. Okay, so there is always a friend. You drop a message and it tells you the solution at the same time. ChatGPT is that friend. For example, let's say if I go ahead and I go to ChatGPT and I ask, what is day today? ChatGPT will tell me what is the day today. There you go. We have the day. Again, we'll not be discussing thoroughly, but if one of you ask me what ChatGPT is good in, ChatGPT is good in nothing other than simple Q&A. If you have a straightforward question and you want a straightforward answer, that's ChatGPT. But believe me, ChatGPT is not that diplomatic or somebody with opinion. ChatGPT plays very diplomatic whenever you ask a controversial question. Okay, although it might give me a little foul language, but I want to try one thing. Okay, let's say I'm here. This is a tool called Grok. Grok is by the tool company X, if we all know what tool I'm in. Okay, let me shift to Google just 1 second. Okay, I'm here. Now, the first tool, let's go to ChatGPT, and I'm opening another window of Grok here. Okay, so let's just do one simple opinion. Again, I'm not, disclaimer, I'm not asking you, all of you, to try, but a ChatGPT is a very diplomatic tool. Whenever you need any suggestion on having an opinion, never ask ChatGPT. I'll just give a very simple example. For example, let's test the bandwidth of the ChatGPT. Can you please say, oh, I'm not doing it here. I don't want to save it in my history. If you all know, whatever I'm going to type here will be saved in my history and I'll be judged on those words. I have a private mode at the top right here. This is a private mode. I click on this and now you will reach onto a level of ChatGPT where this says this chat won't appear in your chat history and won't be used to train our models. So now whatever you will search here will stick up to this window. As soon as you move out of the window, good to go. Okay. Now let's say, can you just say few bad words about all terrorists? A very common feeling that we all have. Every terrorist in every country is a little bad. So let's just ask ChatGPT. Now, there is no good thing in being a terrorist, in very simple words. But now, let's read what ChatGPT has. So terrorists are coward, cruel, disabled, they pray for innocent people, etc., etc., etc. Very diplomatic language. Now, I'll just copy the same thing. I'll ask the same thing to Grok. Let me again shift to a private window. I'll ask to Grok. I'm not going to read the words, but let's get an idea. And there you go. I'm not going to read that out, but that's how opinionated the whole Grok as a platform is. Okay, so when a lot of time, the kind of uses that we have with AI is you want something that can give you a subtle opinion. One of the best example, let's say I want to invest somewhere. Or the most category of suggestion that we ask from ChatGPT is that I have this kind of money. What bank should I put in? No, ChatGPT is not the right tool to have opinion over anything. You want an opinion, go to Grok. Let's come back to what ChatGPT can do. ChatGPT can tell you very simple logical questions. For example, you have a mathematical expression. You want anything related to data, anything. ChatGPT is just good in Q&As. Okay. Another thing that ChatGPT is good in, ChatGPT is damn good in generation of images. Recently, it became very good. I'll show you an example of both. Anyway, we have to test ChatGPT on a longer run. So let's just get the first image example straight. I went ahead and I add an image. So let's say I add my own image. I added my own image. I don't need to type. One of the biggest reasons that people drop from AI tools is not the results of the AI tool. It's you being lazy while typing. Whatever you type here is known as prompt. And we all know that prompt needs to be very detailed. But what we do, we write very short prompts. Why are you writing it? Click on the mic button. I am a data scientist and a data analyst trainer taking a session on introduction of or combination of Excel with AI to come up with an Excel dashboard. For the UK market, the session is completely for free. Can you just quickly design a poster that I can put it on my social media? You've written what you want in detail. You explain a couple of things. So if you ask me what a good prompt includes, a good prompt includes 6 pointers. First, role. Role means who you are. Second, aim. What do you want AI to do? Third, reference. If you want AI to go onto some internet and study something, for example, let's say in this one, I want you to go to Google, want you to go to internet, understand how to frame a good poster, pick up the most important pointers, and then make sure whatever poster you generate, that covers all of these pointers. This is what you're getting reference of an online or internet source. Then we talk about context. Context is that when I said and explained that what is the market, if it's for free, whatever I mentioned, that's context. Last is limitations. Limitation is what you don't want it to do. Whatever you are doing with ChatGPT, where you don't want it to go, you write that. Okay, so these are the primary factors that you include. First is aim, first is role, second is aim, third is context, fourth is limitations, fifth is reference, and at the end, the most important part that you have, what you want in output. Today, we have AIs that can generate n number of things in output. The point is what you want in output. Now, I'll go here. I've mentioned a couple of things. Then I'll go ahead and I'll just ask, generate image. You hit enter, and you will see it'll take you to, it'll try to generate the image. Meanwhile, this generates the image. There is one more tool that you all need to understand. The tool is Claude. A lot of people, so in whatever profession you all are working in, let me simplify one thing for you all today, although today we're going to use Claude for something else. But it doesn't matter what profession you all are in. You all need one or the other category of documentation. Documentation which generally involves documents, as in docs, which is format of. Docs is a format of. Anyone? What I meant when I'm writing docs here?
Words? I don't know. It's silly.
Yes, Microsoft Word.
Yay! Use my common sense.
Obviously. So when I say docs, we are going with editable documents. But whenever you say PDF, let's go. Anyone, one more time. What PDF stands for?
Adobe.
Printable document format.
Printable.
So as soon as you seek PDF, that means you're not looking for a document that is non-editable. You're looking for a fully fledged output that just you're going to go ahead and you'll print it. Okay. Document can be docs, can be PDF, can be Excel. Formats are .xlsx. If you want editable, playable, something that has a lot of sheets and etc. If you just want plain data, that's .csv. These are the formats of Excel. You want to create a PowerPoint for yourself. You want any sort of documentation. In any terms, Claude is your go-to tool. Okay, for example, I'll give you a very simple example. I think meanwhile we are doing the ChatGPT is done. There you go. I have a poster. Although I forgot to tell my name to ChatGPT, but I have a poster. And if any of you has a doubt on quality, I'll download the poster in my downloads and I'll show you. Okay, this is like anything you want to do to your images, any sort of editing, anything. If you can define what you want to do, you can have it. This is the quality. Even zooming in that in, it's like the qualities are staying intact. There are no pixelation issues. You might have because you were on the other side of the meeting, but I don't. Now, if I want, I don't like this white jacket of mine, so let's just do something else. Can you shift this to black and orange theme, and please give me a black suit as dressing? Generate image again. We'll let ChatGPT generate the image. And just to be sure, I'm using the version which is free. I don't pay for tools. It's completely for free. Okay, now let's go next. So if a lot of people have doubt that whatever you are doing is that all requires money, no, it doesn't. Whatever I'm doing here, you can just download ChatGPT on your phone and quickly do it. Let's go to Claude. Okay, now again, voice. Hi everyone, my name is Ravi. I am taking a session on AI tools, which is completely for free for the UK market. We are introducing two AI tools today to audience. One is ChatGPT, another is Claude. In ChatGPT, we talked about a strategy of prompting. The strategy is that you cover 6 pointers. Pointers are aim, role, constraint, as in limitations. Then you talk about format, reference. These are the pointers that you have to cover to make it a good prompt. What I want you to do is I want you to generate a quick handout on what ChatGPT can do, what Claude can do. Don't go very detailed. Make the document very cool. Keep the document in blue, black, and orange theme. Give a well-formatted, editable document. So I'm asking for docs. I'll just put give me a docs. Okay, so I'll just copy the same. I'll keep it handy. I'll share it to the Claude. Now, Claude is not as fast as ChatGPT. Just remember that always. It's nothing like that. You will give this to ChatGPT. So Claude started working. Let Claude work. Now, there you go. I have a damn good Excel poster now. This was the first. This is the second. Completely something else. Although the content stayed the same, it is the theme which got changed. Let's download the same and let's test it. I'm going to downloads. We have it here. And there you go. A very cool poster. Now, again, the dressing of me got changed, and look at the level of detailing. The clothes at the shoulder or below the neck, these shadows, everything is going as it should go. That's why the last update of ChatGPT is very good in terms of images. You can seriously do anything. Any sort of image editing that you ever want to do. You want to make a good DP, you want to make a good Instagram photo, you want to make a good poster for LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. You run a business, you want to make your own templates, you want to make your own poster, you're somebody who likes putting up stories with different things, whatever you want. If you can give ChatGPT a good prompt or reference it, go to internet, there is a trend going on like this. Go to Instagram, there is a trend going on like this. Can you please quickly generate my image in the same trend, and you'll have it. If you don't know the prompt, reference the prompt. Very simple. Now, let's go out of what we were discussing. That's how ChatGPT works. So if you ask me, Ravi, if you have to summarize the ChatGPT in 2 applications for a complete beginner, the ChatGPT can be summarized in 2 things. One is quick Q&A. Second is if you want to do anything in image. Again, it's very diplomatic in nature. Always remember, you cannot ever have a direct, straightforward opinion. Now, let's go next. Meanwhile, we were talking, Claude is done with the documentation. So it just generated a 1 single page of handout where the document looks like this. Let me just download this docs. I'm downloading it and I'm saving it. Meanwhile, I'll give Claude another prompt. Can you do one thing? Can you now generate a detailed book of 7 to 8 page and keep the audience reference to data analysis and put on some different example of what we can do here, like in ChatGPT and Claude? Just give me a detailed book on the same for the audience. Again, remember, you have to give me an editable document as in docs. This is what, but again, I don't need to compare. I'll also show you the output, what ChatGPT gives you. But this is the kind of thing that Claude can do. See, a well-formatted, a proper header, footer, document, everything is editable. The fronting prompt strategy by Ravi. There you go. Everything is completely editable. So that's what Claude is good in. Okay. So for now, we talked about different pointers. We started from data analysis and so on and so on. And now there is one thing. What ChatGPT is good in? ChatGPT is good in quick Q&A that gives you better ideas. And second, images. Now let's go a step next. What Claude is good in? Claude is good in terms of documentation. This is one part of it. There are 100 more applications of Claude. If you give me the profession, I'll give you the application. Very simple. For now, again, we are a little short on constraint. Okay, now let's go about one more thing. Okay, so now we have to ideally start building the dashboard. We established both. We established basics of Excel. We have established basics of AI. Just there is one thing is pending. Claude is working for us. Meanwhile, we are talking in the backend. Okay. Now we have to build a good dashboard. Everything you do in terms of data analysis journey, everything ends on a good dashboard. A dashboard that should look good. A lot of time. Okay, let's go. Imagine you all are from completely different domain. You all sit down today and you have to make a dashboard. What is the step number 1 today? Very simple thing. Let's say I am the teacher, you all are the audience in the same meeting. I have to make the first dashboard. What's the step? What is the step number 1 of everything? It's finding
Extraction data.
domain. Because when you're working in industry, okay, whatever industry you all are working in, you don't need to find the industry to make project in. You already know where you're working. So the domain is already figured out. For whom your end user already figured out because you're working in the company, right? So whenever you're learning, whenever you're working, it's always a problem first approach. Somebody has to come to you, assign you a problem, and then you start data analysis. But when you are not working, then it should be always a domain first approach or a data first approach. For example, let's say that I know brain cancer is a huge problem today. I want to build something to brain cancer. But is it required that I'll get data related to brain cancer? No. You might not find the data of the particular problem that you decided to tackle. So the first and the very important pointer, if you want to make dashboard anywhere, you're making in Python, you're making anywhere, is domain. Now I want everyone to do a single thing in your brain. Count how many domains you can think of at very this moment. For example, finance is one, education is one. Count how many unique, good domains you all can think of and give me the number. Go for it, all of you. Like for example, let's say I can think of at least 10 different domains in my head at very this moment. I can just reiterate 10. Education, healthcare, insurance, airline, sports, HR, employee,
IT,
etc.
fashion.
Sorry, go again.
I said IT, fashion, banking,
Give me a number,
retail.
whatever you can think of, roughly the number.
Probably around 10ish, 10 to 15.
Okay, 10 to 15. If there anyone who is on 5 to 6, it's fine. Just go it and say it out loud. No issues. I want everyone to pick up the number. Go for it. Please pick up a number. Anyone who's active? There were like 3-4 people active. Pick up a number. Any number that you're comfortable with.
15.
15. Now, what we do is when you're deciding a domain, you're looking around yourself. What if now what I do is I go to ChatGPT. Okay. So I forgot to give prompt to Claude. Let me just send this first one. Okay. Now I go to ChatGPT. We'll start a new chat so that the context window changes. I go here. I am an aspiring data analyst who just understood the basics of Excel. I want to pick up a domain. But the point is, I have to do a lot of research to pick up the domain and its related data set. So what I want you to do is go to Kaggle, do the research of what all data sets available, and according to that, give me 30 different domain lists that I can start data analysis with. Now see, possible option 2 is I go to Kaggle, I take a paper, I write all 15 different domain names, I search manually for the database. But is that really a good skill to have? No, it's not. It's you spending your time on a useless activity. Another thing, it's you keeping a constant on your knowledge. If you know 15 domain right now, and if you will end up using all of those 15 domains, what is going to happen? You only know the 15. Go for it, ChatGPT. What happened? Let me write it myself. I am a aspiring data analyst. List 30 different domains that I can start making projects in. Okay, and I'll do it, hit enter. Now, in our case, I would like to, because now if we start with a complete new domain, it's going to take a lot of time. But in your case, what you do is you do read the 30 all whatever domain list you do have. So when you read that 30 all, it will give you one domain that will click your mind and you will start making. For now, I'm going to take sales because I've already made you comfortable enough with one data set, that's chocolate sales data set. Second thing is figuring out what data you need in that domain. We already figured out chocolate sales, but I will let you do, I'll show you the search. Okay. So if I go here and I show you what ChatGPT did, what happened to my first part? I am a aspiring data analyst. I want to start making dashboards. Give me 30 different domain lists that I can start making projects in. I go ahead and I send it. You will see I will have a proper list. Sales, analytic, retail, e-commerce, marketing, finance, banking. Now, usually what people think AI will go ahead and kill your creativity. But now you are playing it on the other side. You already know 15 domain when you're gonna, so you made sure that you know whatever you know. Then you came here and while you are studying this, you might learn a couple of new things. So we are not using AI in sort of replacement of us. We are using assistant in nature. So by this means you will end up learning something. Okay. I had it all. Now I have different. We already finalized a domain for ourselves. That's the sales. Okay. Now we want to find chocolate sales. So what I'll do is I'll go here. Let's say domain I am picking up is sales. Get me top 10 real data sets. A lot of people do what do they pick up synthetic data set. Long data sets have more than 5,000 rows. It's very difficult to create fake data set that has 5,000 rows. Clean data sets. To start with, we'll pick up something which is clean, don't have a lot of problems in it. Get me 10 different data sets. So this you sitting down on the internet looking for the whole data set thing, we just bypassed it. And you have a list of different data sets available. You can go ahead and you can pick one. For example, let's say I like this Ozilist Brazilian e-commerce data set. Can you give me the link for this one? You send it, and you don't have to go to internet and find it. It will directly take you to the data set. There you go. You click on the link and it will take you to that particular data set, wherever the data set is available. Saved a lot of effort. Now, these are the two things that no one really spend time on. Okay. What most of the people think that Excel projects or whatever project you make in terms of analytics, you are making it for the sake of making it so that you can show it. No. The time you spent on your project. Okay. For example, I haven't even started making project yet, but I have given you content to speak about for at least 2-3 minutes. It's not about the project. It's always about the articulation or the insight driving from that project, or which in short we call as storytelling. It's always about the story you drag out from the whole process. Okay. Now let's go next. So I figured out two things on my piece. One is domain, another is data. What do you think? What is the third thing I have to figure out? Anyone? What is the third most important thing? Consider yourself a salesperson. You are making some product. It's always about the end consumers who you want it to present to, and what that person focuses on. First thing is the perspective that you want to build. Okay. Now, one thing is, for example, let's say I show you this data. This is the data set that we are finalizing. Now, you all tell me that if I'm picking up this as the data set, who all are possible end consumers? CEO of the company, regional manager. The point is, how many end consumers you can think of? Give me one number. What possible end consumers of this dashboard you can think of? Or any analysis been done on this dashboard you can think of. Imagine this is a real company, a real chocolate sales data. 4, 5, 6 at max. Now, let's utilize AI to hit our creativity again in different ways. I'll copy the data. I'll paste it in a notepad so that I can copy the text again. I go to ChatGPT, I paste it. So I went and pasted. This is the chocolate sales data. Help me listing 20 different end consumers who might be interested in any dashboard related to this. You hit enter. Now what this will do, this will understand whatever the data you have, and it will list 20 different end consumers. Now here is the again point. You're using AI to make your creativity more better in terms of data. You are just not directly going. So whatever the 20 end consumers, you will understand. Next time when you'll do something related to sales, you will remember them. For now, who I am the CEO of the company. So the end consumer I'm finalizing is CEO of the company. And I have it. Okay. Last is what perspective we want to build. That's the most important point. Okay. So now this data itself can give you 100, 200 different category of charts, right? What chart you pick up, what columns you pick up to make chart, that's important. So now what I do, I go back. Now, this is something that we from non-analytical side have no idea. If I talk about perspective, can you think of any? Now, point is what a perspective includes. I want to make a dashboard that has 4 KPIs. Now let's check what KPI stands for. Let's see if anybody remembers.
Key performance indicator.
Great, very good. Key performance indicator. I want to include 4 charts. I want to have 4 KPIs, 4 charts, and 2 slicers. That's what I wanted to have. Can you give me 5 different perspectives of this data that my CEO might be interested in? Again, focus on the articulation part. It's not about the project, it's about the delivery. How you're going to deliver that project in an interview. We haven't even started yet, and the content which is we are building in our mind. You already have a 4 to 5 minute content to speak about the project. I started with a domain like this, where there were 10 different data sets available. I picked up this one because of this reason. Then to that particular data set, there are n different end consumers possible. To one end consumers, there are 100 different perspectives possible. I decided this because this focuses on this. You already have a 2, 3, 4 minute content to speak in an interview. Now, executive sales overview, one opinion or one perspective. Market performance dashboard. Third, product performance dashboard. Fourth, sales team performance dashboard, and so on. Okay, everyone is making whatever they are making. Now, we are up to a point. Let me just trace down our history, what we started with. We started with, what was the first step? Let's see. What was the first step?
Extraction of
No.
data.
When I as a beginner started making project, what was the first step?
Identify domain.
Domain was the first step. I'm done with domain. After domain?
Data.
Data. After data?
End consumer.
End consumer. After end consumer?
Perspective.
What perspective I want to build. Now here comes the 2 part. If you want to build a quick product, we will be more AI focused. But if I am somebody who's preparing for data analytics, now here what I have to spend time on, Excel. But the step 5 is still not the dashboard. Now we must be thinking, now we have figured out everything, just go and build the dashboard, right? Not exactly. Now I'll show you a literal example to compare something. Let's go to YouTube. And I'll show you whatever the people we have here, what sort of Excel dashboards they come up with. So I'm putting up an Excel dashboard. I have it here. Okay. Look at the Excel dashboards. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at all of these Excel dashboards. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Now I'll show you 2 pictures. Excel dashboards, enter. Images. I'll open 2 simple images in front of you. This is the first image. Right click, open image in a new tab. And this is let's pick up something that looks a little.
These dashboards are quite overwhelming in terms of so much of data together, and how do you kind of
No.
read through it? It's very, very, very overwhelming.
Just give me 5 more minutes. Okay. Now there is one data set, one dashboard which looks like this, and there is one dashboard which looks like this. Now put yourself at the place of the interviewer. There are 2 learners who have shared their portfolio with you. One of them have something like this, and one of them have something like this. This is also a dashboard. It's a damn good dashboard. As of now, we cannot understand it, but it's a damn good dashboard for somebody who made it. Okay. Which one you even think about opening and looking at?
First one.
First one. This one. Now, this is a kind of story that no one really focuses on. It's not about what you make. It's also about the presentable. Whatever you make should be that eye-catchy that everyone looks onto it. And now I'm not saying anything. Just go to YouTube and really, I don't know how all of them are teaching whatever they are teaching, but just go to YouTube and focus on Excel dashboards. Okay, whatever dashboard they make. This one is still little eye-catchy. That made me click on the video, right? But look at this, or look at this, or look at this is still a little eye-catchy. This is eye-catchy because of the colors they are using, right? So next step, which is theme. It's something that's very important to create. If you will not create a good theme as a beginner, you will end up having a very bad project for your portfolio. And the point is, it doesn't matter where you create from. It doesn't matter where you create from. You will have, no one will ask you how you created this theme. That's a very illogical question to ask in simple terms. Okay. So there are multiple ways of doing this part very conveniently and very easily. After theme, the next step is building a dashboard. You finalize your theme, you build a dashboard. But now there are two ways, an AI way and doing a manual way. Let's iterate one example in each. So I go here. Meanwhile, I think Claude is done. Okay, not again. Generic. Okay, Claude just asked me a counter clarity question. I did not even look at it. Now the Claude started generating the paper. Okay, now I am here. We need to finalize one perspective. I'm going to fix the first one. Executive sales overview. Okay. I copy this. I paste here. Now I am somebody who's from non-tech, who never built a website, who never built a dashboard before. If you will ask me to pick up the color, I'll pick up what? Red, blue, black, then. Don't use that. When you have a bit of help available, let's ask for help. So I go here. I want to build, let's pick up some cool colors. Let's say black, not black, white, blue, red. Theme of dashboard. Before starting, I want to see how the dashboard will look like. Generate rough, generate image, how my dashboard will look like. And you hit enter. What we did, the theme part, which was the most boring part and the most unproductive part, because as a data analyst, no one will ask you what color of red you use, right? So that's the most unproductive part. What we will do, we hand it over it to ChatGPT, and now ChatGPT will do that. Well, okay, this one is still working. Let it work. Although, just one thing, this one was not working since then. It asked me, I'm clarifying that it asked me a counter question for clarity, that who you want to prepare this book for. And just a minute ago, it started preparing the book. Moving out, let's wait. Meanwhile, I'll just go ahead and I'll close this file. We made n number of changes. I want the fresh file because I have to build a dashboard. So I will just go with this file again. Now, what you do is, I don't need this sheet really. Delete. I don't need this sheet also. I'll go ahead and delete and I'll save it. Now I'm adding a new screen. Here I want to make my dashboard. One thing that I want everyone to tell is when we were cutting a lot of things out, when you were cutting out the end consumers, when you were cutting out the perspective, you seriously reach to a point that now you know 2 point what I want. Total revenue, total boxes shipped, number of countries served, number of products sold, monthly revenue, revenue by country, revenue by product, top sales by salesperson, and so on. I'm done with everything. Okay. So it has given me option of menu because I forgot to tell I'm making in Excel. I am beginner making in Excel. Design accordingly. So this creating menu, multiple page dashboard, it's really a difficult task. On the whole YouTube, you only have one single video. That person is creating a multiple page dashboard because that person is really working. So now I'm going to pick up something like that, but I'm going to keep the structure simple. Okay, so we are asking it to generate. Meanwhile, this one is working. So what it does, it started generating me all the pages. Then it verified page 1, checking the cover page, checking the mistakes in page 2, checking the page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's checking the 9th page now. Checking means whatever it generates, it's double verify that whatever the Claude generated, that's is a very good output in terms of whatever I asked for. Okay, now we are waiting for this. Meanwhile, get a rough idea. Okay, so this is the something, it will also generate roughly the same thing. So the idea that I have is I have 4 different sheets, 4 different KPIs on the top, and this line same continues, and I get roughly something like this. This is the chart I'm building. To look at the shape, this is not a rectangle, this is not a square either. This is combination of somewhere in the middle. Okay, so now what I'll do, okay, this is the dashboard we do have. I'll modify the design. Look at the rough design. So if you will see, you have 4 boxes. Look at here. It's a box for KPI. At the top, you have the title bar and something like this. I got the idea. Okay. Now, I'm going to start 2 processes hand in hand. Process number 1, where I want AI to do that dashboarding for me. Process number 2, where I'm going to do the dashboard myself. Okay. But if we can build this, whatever you can see right here, isn't it good from 95% of the dashboard, whatever is available on the internet? We all went through a lot of dashboards which are available on YouTube. I'm just asking a common question. Isn't it good from 95% of the theme wise? Isn't it good
Yeah.
from 95% of the dashboard that we've built? Exactly, yes.
Yes, it is very simpler.
Let's simpler plus cleaner plus it looks good. Okay, if
Yeah.
this is verified as the first project, it's a damn good project. Now we'll go to Excel. I'm setting the zoom percentage to 70 so that I can fit everyone in. There is a logic behind, but you don't need to focus on that for now. Now, use very simple approach that we used to do when we used to be kids. When we used to be kids, what we used to do? If you have to fit everything on one page, what do you used to do? You make the layout first, right? So before starting the dashboard, I'll go ahead. I have a boxes. And when we used to be in school, what we used to do, we used to count the lines and mark the box, right? Same thing I'll do. I'll get it back. I'll go here. I do a right click, click on column width. I'm setting it to 2.5 so that I can leave that padding that I don't have to draw in this part of the page. I select this and I decide that this is where I want to make the dashboard. I have it. Boundary done at the top. So I'll go ahead. I'll take this, right click, column width. I'm setting it to 2.5 again. So this is again the padding on the right side. I insert one more row. I just take up this area, 4 rows, and I highlight it. This is what I want to keep for the title. And this is what I would like to keep for the filters. Done. So if you look at this dashboard, so I want to make filter here. Now, really what I need to draw, I need to draw 4 small boxes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need to draw 2 here and 2 here. Now, see yourself. So there is 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, and 4 box, and 1 padding, the space in the middle, 2 padding, and 3 padding I have to leave. So whatever the number of columns are, they should be multiple of 4 plus 3. Very simple calculation. Okay. So for example, let's say that first of all, I reduce these two, go to column width, take column width, I make it 2.5. Why 2.5? So that I can stick on the same column width over the period of time. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and I'll delete this one. Now I just check the count. The count of columns I do have is 17. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. Either I pick up 15 or I go for 23. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, getting back. I go back. Now I start making a box for 4 and 4 here. 4 or 5, let's take 4. And I give it a boundary. I don't think much. I do a copy. I click here, paste it, click here, paste it. Now I know that it's not going to fit in. I just go ahead and I create 2 more boxes. Don't use much of brain, just fix it. Now we will use brain in thinking, does it look what exactly we need? So first of all, I'll click here, click here, click here, right click, column width, and I'll take it to 2.5 again. That's what we wanted, we have it. Now I'll do a count of number of rows from here to here. So roughly these are 26 rows. I need to add 1 more or I need to get rid of 1. So for now, I just take this box and I make a box. I do a copy. Let me see if this fits in. Got fit in. Very good. Fit in the same, fit in the same. I do a right click. I delete. I have it. But these are on the height term, it's good. But on the length term, they're too wide. So what I do, I get rid of some of them. I click on the middle 2 rows of every of the KPI and both of the chart. I go to column width and I set the column width as 6. They got reduced. The box got a little better shape, and I can just get rid of the one from the bottom, and I'll give it a boundary again. Home and layout. There we go. We have a perfect layout ready. We won. So very soon I'll just put on the boxes and I'll put on different stuff here. Let's follow up on the way too. Meanwhile, I think Claude is done. There you go. So this was the document that I asked for. It generated me a 7-page document. Usually takes 3-4 minutes, but I'll show you the document. Mostly people think that documentation is all about content. Not really. Documentation is also about formatting. The kind of formatting I have here, if I give all of you a simple task, even if you have content, still if you have to format something like this, it might take you 3-4 hours to give that proper finishing on everything. And I have everything. Welcome. Meet the 2 tools, ChatGPT Claude, ChatGPT in action. You have a prompt. You have a second prompt to compare to, and then you have Claude in action. Then you have the strategy that we just worked on, and everything is defined with every detailed prompt. Then we have a handbook created within Claude completely for free and in a damn good formatting that if you want to share it with somebody, you have it. Claude is very good in documentation. Now let's use those documentation skills. I'll go up to a new chat. Already built a theme. I want Claude. Let me see if the voice button works. I want Claude to build the same dashboard with prompts for me. So whatever we discussed in this chat, whatever I have finalized, I want to go with the sales data set, chocolate sales data set, CEO as the user, and the perspective that I shared with you, right? A detailed prompt that also includes the theme element that I have to build so that I can just give that prompt to Claude and Claude can build roughly the same dashboard for me. Design a detailed prompt. Then. So whatever I was talking about to ChatGPT, whatever the way I have defined the whole process, I'm just asking ChatGPT to now generate a prompt for me so that I can give that prompt to Claude and get the same dashboard. ChatGPT started generating the dashboard for me, whatever it needed for me. Meanwhile, let me go back to Excel. Okay, I have the design. Now what I need a better layout. So if you look at the design, so far what I remember, I click on insert, I click on shapes, I click on box. Here I'll go ahead and I'll create a blue shape. I need to go zoom in so that I can fit that shape exactly here. And I go a little out and I make the shape exactly fit in. I have it. Okay. Now I go to the shape format. I get rid of the outline and I go to the color. I would like to pick that blue color suggested by ChatGPT. That's the dark blue color. I do a copy of the shape and I put the shape here exactly. Again, once I've made a shape, I'm not going to remake the shape because the color should not change. Now I'll put it here and I have it here. Now the first section was not blue, it was red. So I cut it. I go back and I paste it at the same spot. And this section should not be blue, it should be red either. So I'll go ahead and I'll pick up the bright red. Now I adjust the simple formatting so that everything is properly aligned. I have it. Now here I can write the title in whatever way I wish to. For now, I'll just go ahead and I'll click on insert, go to shapes, go to a little rounded shape because I remember the shape was round in nature. So I make one shape here. I control the width, I reduce the width a bit. I move up it a little and I have a perfect one. I cut it out, paste here, go to shape, go to outline, give no outline and give no filling. But I go to outline and give it a gray outline. I also want to give it a little shadows or a glow. Let me see if shadow works. So I go ahead and give this a little shadow. I have it. I do a copy. I want to give the fill as white. Fill as white. I do a copy. I paste it here. I paste it here. I paste it here. I also paste this one here. I extend the box. Zoom in. I extend the box. I move the box a little down. I reduce the radius. I do a copy of the box. I come back here and paste it at the same place. What I'll do, I'll just reduce the width of this one so that I can put the title in. And here I'll use this one to put the title, whatever title I do want. And I will go ahead and I'll give this a dark blue color. So I'll use very simple shape fill. I'll go with dark blue color that I have. And I get, if you want to keep the effect, it's fine. If you want to get rid of it, that's also fine. I do a copy of both. Copy, paste here, paste here, you paste here, you paste here. And now I would like this one and this one. It should not be blue. This should be red. So I go with shape fill and change it to the light red that I'm using. Now what I do, I just make a shape that covers everything. So I put here, paste it, move it a little out, go it to the white and drag it down. You'll get the reason why. I made this. Now what I do want, I go to shape fill and I give this a little gray shade. Okay. And then I do a right click on send to back and I send to complete back. What happened with the gray color? Did I forgot to change the color? Shape fill, give this one a little gray shade. Shape outline should be dark blue. I reduce the size a bit from here. Now what I do, I just select these rows at the top. I get rid of all the rows color that I added. I've been drawing there, right? So I did all of them. I'll give all of them a no border and I give all of them a pure white color so that they don't messes up with my dashboard. And I have a very good structure ready that I can just go ahead and pursue, put all my text in, and I can do a number of things. We'll keep building this. Meanwhile, I'm going back. ChatGPT generated me a very good prompt. I'll take the prompt. I go to a new chat. I add, go to files. I'm not even reading the prompt. You can, when you'll be building, you have to sit down and you have to read the prompt. I'll go to the data, let's pick up the exact data set that we are using. So I am picking up the exact data set that I've been using. I click on open and I paste it and I hit send. Now I let the Claude build. So I just gonna stay here for a minute and make sure the Claude started working on the dashboard. It's testing everything, loading the data set with pandas, checking up the column type and everything. And okay, it started generating the KPIs and charts. Meanwhile, let's go back to Excel. Now I go back to my prompt. What title do I want it? So this must has given the whole titles and thing. This is KPI. This is dashboard layout, target user. And if you go back, the title was executive sales summary. And then there was a line and below that you have to write something. So I go for Excel, I go for insert, I go for word art, I go for the plain text. Executive sales summary. I give all of this. I set it here. I go to home, give this pure white color, make it bold, take out, add a couple of steps, and I just put in exactly here. Now, if you want, you can have the logo and everything. Now, I'm just going to do one part. I'm going to add one KPI, one slicer and everything. I go to insert. I go to a round shape. I make a round shape. I take away the outline of the shape, no outline. I give this shape a blue color, dark blue color. I'll copy this one. And I want to put here, it's a little bigger in size, reduce the size. Copy, paste here, set it down. Copy, paste here, set it down. Copy, paste here, settle it down. Now I go here. I would like to add a logo icon, total icon of something related to money, where I want to highlight the total sales. So you can pick up any one of them. I'll just go ahead and insert this. Change its color to white and reduce the size. Get it back down here. And I have it. Now you can write total sales. So I'll just take the same text, do a copy, paste, and I add here, write total, and we use dollar instead of writing a total. Go to home, take away a little bit text and give this a dark blue color. Now zoom in, let's move a little out, putting it here, keeping this one up, putting it here. Now we go up again. I click on insert. We take a text box this time, and I'm just putting a text box here. Insert. We have a text box. I'll just put this text box here. I later on change it. For now, I'm just putting it here. Right. Now, let's go back at the idea of the dashboard. The dashboard was to highlight the monthly sales. I'm just going to pick up one chart, or let's say I have the country, all the countries and a bar chart. Revenue by country. I want to make that. So I'll go here and I give this one as a title. Copy paste. I take this one, write it here. Revenue by country. I do a control A, go to home, and I give this a pure white color. Let's go zoom in, pick up this, add here. I go to home, reduce a step one size. and you had a revenue one by country. Now we already know how to do that pivot. I'll go to data, I do a control A, click on insert, click on pivot table, table range, we do hit OK. I take up country, put it in rows, I take up amount, put it in values, do a right click, sort largest to smallest, I do a control A, click on insert, recommended charts, and I hit OK. I have it. Top. Oh, I don't even need title because I've already given one. Delete. I don't want these boxy buttons. These also looks bad. So I go to pivot table chart analyze. I take them off. I copy this chart. I go back here and I paste it here. Now I have the chart. I'll just paste it here. And now I'm putting it here. But the point here is now you have to take care of the whatever formatting you want. For example, let's say I don't want that total. I'll just get rid of the legend. You want the numbers on the top, whatever formatting you want, you can convert that. For now, I'll go to this. This color, I would like to give them solid color. The color needs to be dark blue. The dark blue color. Now I'll put here, I'll go with the background. Let me move out first. Let me scroll this one aside. I'll double click on the background. Do I want the background? No, Phil, I don't want any background. I reduce the size, make it to the size that it exactly fits in my box. And I just put it here. Now this shape has a very weird outline that is covering my current design. So I'll just go to format, go to shape outline and click on no outline. I have a perfect alignment chart in the same theme that I'm creating. Now there is one more thing pending. That's the KPI. I'll go to shape format, give this outline. No, I'm not going to go ahead and give no outline. Now what I do, I reference this KPI. I need to create a KPI. I do a control A, click on insert, pivot table, table range, hit OK. I take up the amount and put it in values. That's the total sale. I'm naming this sheet as KPI. I have it. I go back to dashboard. I click on equals to, go back to sheet of the KPI, click on this KPI and hit enter. I have the KPI available. Now I need to just format it. This is the sales. I'll give the color as dark blue. If you want, you can also give formatting as this and center. Now what we need, we just need one slicer to control the whole dashboard. But meanwhile, let's just check if the Claude is done. So I was here, processing the here. Okay, so we have, Claude has given me an HTML dashboard. I don't want it that though, but let's just download and see what it actually generated. Going to download, let's check it. See, click on UK. Okay, all of these are images, but it generated a rough dashboard. Now I don't want it the HTML version. I want the XLSX version. So if any of you don't understand HTML, HTML is how you make your live dashboard. So if I just put it on something like my drive and my host it, I'll be able to share a link with somebody that this is my live project. But again, I want the XLX version. I let Claude build the same. I go back here. There's only one thing missing. That's one slicer. So I go back to this. I go to this chart, click on insert, and I will insert a slicer on the basis of product. I hit OK. I have a product slicer. I do a copy. I go back to my dashboard and I put that slicer here. Later on, we can format it if you want, but for now, I use them the same. Now, I go to slicer, I go to report connection, and I connect it to the KPI pivot table 2. And I have, if I just do 5-7 more minutes, I can build a theme for that whole slicer also, but I have it in control. You have a KPI functional, you have a chart functional, everything aligned in a proper theme. If I just take this up and we go higher up, now we can add a couple of more charts here if we want. This is what it really takes in real life. 15 more minutes and I'll be done with the whole dashboard. I can just put up everything, but all of these are just repeated things now. I need to put more charts. I need to put more KPIs. I need to have another slicer. That's what is required. You also want, you don't want to customize the slicer. You can go to slicer and you can customize it from here. This dashboard is not just me telling you that these are the charts we're going to come. We followed up a whole procedure. So just compare yourself that if you would have copied a project from YouTube and now you sitting with AI and making the project in depth, kind of articulation that you get in both ways, it's completely different. This is the Claude is generating. The Claude is generating. So we, and as in the whole, completed 3 different modules where we started with basics of Excel. Check number one. We started with another thing as a bit of AI tools where we talked about 3 tools, Grok, ChatGPT, and Claude. And last component was we building a dashboard. Now, here comes the little pitching part. So I'll just introduce how we obviously have a course for data analytics. I'll just going to give you a very quick brief. Rest, we'll follow up on the dashboard very soon. So the dashboard is in the generation process. I'll take those 5 minutes exactly. So I primarily told you about 3 problems that no one really counters, and the problem number is one, the mindset. Second is the vocabulary part. And third, which we are calling as storytelling part. You obviously have to get onto a lot of different things to have a very good story generated out of a dashboard. Along with that, there is one more trail we are in, that's AI tools. Okay. So we as the organization SkillVersed has designed a course that is combination of everything. How we go in very quick manner. You go through Excel, you go through SQL, you go through Python, you go through Power BI. Along with that, there are a couple of things. So the primary thing is 2 classes per week, starts from here, goes till here. In every module, we cover whatever the AI tools fulfill the requirement. So whatever the AI tools you need to know throughout your data analytics journey, combining up 40 plus, will be covered to you wherever at the perfect spot you need it. Okay, so it's not a separate part, it's a part of the course. Everything will be covered in whatever module you need. Third, few component is you can have a lot of one-to-one sessions. So for example, let's say that you are sitting in a class, you have an issue. Although you will have the access to the recordings, but you sit down, you watch the recording, and if you still have a problem, you can get yourself a one-on-one meeting. Another thing, there are mock interviews happen in 2 parts of your courses. One is after 3 months, and second is after 6 months. This course is completely of 6 months. Every week, you will be shared notes. You will have a couple of assignments to do. You will be shared interview questions from our end. The way how the course will gonna go, you will be highly advised to do 2 things. The way how this whole thing is designed, you'll end up preparing 50 interview questions every week, because interview question is something that you have to sit down and study like you used to study in school if you want a job. Second thing we highly focus on is projects. At the time when everything will be done, you will have a portfolio of 20 plus very good projects. This is how the whole course roughly goes. The whole course is completely AI condensed. Wherever you need whatever the AI tool that currently exists in market, you will be trained on the same. How everything goes, roughly everything goes with same detailing as we did today. How the class goes, roughly, that's more of communication. On the learner and the trainer side, you are a bit silent. So there's more bi-directional classes goes, and the classes goes completely hands-on. If someone will be teaching you theoretical knowledge, he or she will be covering everything practically in whatever way they are teaching. Short crisp of what we have. Now let's just check if we are done with our dashboard. Still trying to rendering the dashboard. Checking the anchor position. So whenever you assign Claude a task, it's a very simple thing. It's been what, 5-7 minutes now. The Claude generates everything, then review everything, then validate everything, that even after you go ahead and you download everything, it will still work fine. And even if there are clashing issues, like let's say one chart is when we are applying some slicer, it's covering the second chart or the third chart or anything, even in that, it validates that level of detailing and corrects it for you. The turn limit of, so in one turn, Claude has a token limit that got hit. Click on continue. So it continues from the same space. Okay. Meanwhile, we are almost done with the session. If any of you have any quick questions about whatever we discussed today, you want to go forward, anything related to the whole data analytics field, you can ask. Anything. Meanwhile, this goes on. By the way, let's just take one thing out of my curiosity. Obviously, you will not be able to follow everything in detail without proper classes. But whatever I explained you, what percent you all got, at least logically? That Ravi, 70% of whatever you explained, I understood logically. Give me a percentage, everyone.
I think 75% for me, Richa.
Nice, very good. What about the
The
rest?
only difficult part was, kind of creating the layout too much. I think that will just come with practice. It's nothing that kind of, if this is something that will come with practice.
Obviously, that's okay. What about the rest?
60%.
70%, Jyoti.
Okay. We just have a very small component left at the end. The bonus part, just stick with me. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Around 70 to 80%.
70 to 80%, nice. Okay. Okay. So just one last bonus thing before moving out. Just one small tool that I would like to introduce to you all. It's completely beyond. See, I'm not that kind of person who directly have that selling behavior. Whatever I told you, purely 99% of the session was completely for your upskilling. So there is one more tool. Okay, we have the dashboard. Let's see the dashboard first. So it generated me two files. One is the Excel file. Second is export building guide, how it has built it or how you can utilize the dashboard better. So now I'm here. Let's go to downloads. Although I haven't given any prompt or anything, but still I have it. Okay. So I'll go ahead and just give me 1 second. Okay. So downloads, this is my Excel sales dashboard. And this was the dashboard that I was creating. The second file is opening up. And I have exactly not followed the theme, but I roughly have everything what I need. I just might have to design a couple of boxes around, but it has a functional KPI, proper functional KPI. So if you will see, this is a calculation, proper reference calculation. You have all your data available. You have your complete calculations available. All the pivots are properly calculated here. It did the whole calculation for you. You might, again, we are not going on the artifact kind, but if we, so the time when you will be building, if you sit down and you understand the prompt well, you go ahead and you make 2-3 tweaks around, you can amplify the whole thing into a way that will give you something, whatever you want. Okay. Now, just one last thing is, so there is very small thing that I suggest everyone. Obviously, if you all are here, you all are learning something in your life. It doesn't matter what you're learning data analytics or whatever you're learning. There is one tool that I suggest for everyone. There's a tool called Notebook LM. Okay, so there's a very simple tool called Notebook LM. Come to this. Now, the agenda here is, okay, you get the app, try Notebook LM, it'll launch the Notebook LM for you. Now, let's say that we are learning about anything. For example, let's say I go to create a new notebook. Now, whatever we are learning in different phases. For example, let's say you're learning from internet, you're learning from PDF, you're learning from everything. Okay. Let's say I'm learning for internet, Excel for Data Analyst. I just hit enter. I don't have to sit down, research what is required, what are the available resources from where I can prepare the interview questions, nothing. You don't have to do anything. It will go to the internet, will figure out all the top 10 things for you, and then we'll ask you to import. You hit on import. All of the relevant resources will be analyzed and you will be shared a detailed or a short summary. Now, the point here is you cannot just access the summary. You can generate these 9 things. You can generate an audio overview, slide deck, video overview, mind map, flashcard, everything. So what I do, okay, so I have it here. It's trying to analyze all the resources I have. I'll just show you one example. Later on, you can try. Microsoft Data Analysis and Power Query Guide, it has. Now I'll just go to mind map and I'll click on that arrow. Here, I am a beginner data analyst. Just make a complete mind map that I need to follow in Excel and focus on all topics. Done. I just click on generate. Now, what this tool will do, one of the biggest problem when we are learning something is fitting a very good structure. And if you will ask to any of the good teachers, trainers out there, they'll tell you, never follow any website's content. Whatever website you'll go to, they have an agenda. So what do is you compile the top 10 website, you make your own TOC, that is in the table of content. And this website can do that for you. So whatever I given initially, when I've given Excel for mind, whatever I've given, it serves the best, summarize, and now I have the mind map ready. You expand, there you go. These are the following things you need to understand. But again, as a beginner, there are only very small part of core function. So this is something that you really understand, that what Excel is. But other than that, there is a module called Power Query. There is a module called Power Pivot. There is a module called Text Calculation. There is a module called TDA. There is a module called Visualization Reporting. And what are the best practices? So this is something that the kind of Excel you need to actually become a data analyst. But again, these are not complicated topics. But there are topics that you have to understand that Excel, as of now, the Excel we understand is Excel for basics. But as a data analyst, the Excel you have to understand is the Excel for data analytics part. Okay. So this is a tool. This is a tool that really helps. I take a lot of CRTs, campus recruitment training sessions, where we train really fresh and young mind over different things. But this is the kind of tool that helps them a lot to understand a very complicated topic, because you can go ahead and you can generate audio, video, podcast over the same. Okay. If anybody has no question, anyone want to ask something? Thank you so much for the time. You've all been a wonderful audience, especially 2 or 3 people who were acting, laughing throughout the time. Thank you so much for the energy, everyone.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.